Ano yun? Di ba sabi ko huwag ka maglalaro ng bola sa loob ng bahay? Ha? Tapos ngayon iiyak ka? Ha? Ha? Ha?
Ops. Teka lang. Tama ba yun? Ganun ba dapat mag-handle ng behavior? What's up guys? Today, pag-uusapan natin yung behavior management and how we can manage a behavior that is more beneficial to you and your child. I will discuss today the most basic things about behavior management. I'm not a behavior therapist, but depending on your child's behavior and needs, I think it would be best to consult a behavior therapist or even a doctor for that matter. I'm only here to discuss a little bit of knowledge of how I understand behavior management and how I execute it as an OT. Now, if you like this topic, please smash the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content like this. A behavior is an expressive act by an individual that can have many forms and meanings depending on the situation or context. Bigyan natin ng example. It may be inappropriate if yung isang kid bigla na lang tatakbo out of his room and out of his house kapag during his online classes, sinabi ng teacher, mag-handwriting activity tayo today. But it is appropriate and desirable if yung same behavior na yun, tatakbo siya outside his room and out of the house kapag may earthquake or biglang may fire alarm. So ngayon, there are two types of behavior, appropriate and inappropriate. Yung appropriate, madali lang yan, yung good and acceptable. Yung inappropriate naman, yung bad and unacceptable. And oftentimes, this will interfere with the occupational performance of one individual. So there are two types pa talaga of inappropriate behavior. Yung una ay passive. Dito mo makita na non-compliant, ayaw sumunod sa mga gusto mong pagawa sa kanya, withdrawn or nag-avoid, walang gana, may inattention, and lack of response. Next naman is yung active. May direct refusal. Talagang ayaw. No. Tapos may opposition. Mag-go against what you ask of him or her. Ito rin may aggression towards others or may self-injurious behavior or can destroy property. What can cause an inappropriate behavior? First is access or obtaining a desired object. I'll give you an example. Kapag gusto niya yung cellphone mo. Second is avoiding a situation. Ito yung kapag may gustong pagawa sa kanya, talang iiwasan ka niya. Third is escape from undesired object, demand, or event. Fourth is the lack of skill or ability to perform. This may also be the reason ba't niya iniiwasan yung isang bagay. Kasi alam niya hindi niya kaya or hindi niya magawa or hindi niya naiintindihan paano ko ba gagawin. Fifth is primary needs. Baka nagugutom, baka antok, baka in pain. Six is attention. Gusto lang niya, pansinin mo siya. Gusto lang niya mag-spend time ka with him or her. Seventh naman is sensory needs. Baka may sensory needs siya na kailangan ma-meet muna. It may be tactile, proprioceptive, or vestibular. The purpose or reason why a behavior is exhibited can only be identified by the person who did that behavior. Now, if your child is able to verbalize kung bakit niya ginawa yun, tanong mo siya. Very good. Now ngayon, if hindi naman niya kaya ma-verbalize or masabi, this is the part when we should carefully analyze and look at all the factors involved kung bakit nangyari yung behavior na yun. Now, this is also the part where I refer to a behavior therapist or a doctor to perform a functional behavior analysis. Lalo na if yung behavior niya is extreme and dangerous and it doesn't only affect himself but also the people around him. So today, pag-uusapan natin yung 3 P's. How do we prepare, prevent, and support positive behavior? So first, for less severe situations, how do we prepare? So it's good to create a context or an environment where an inappropriate behavior is less likely to occur. Or if ever man na magkaroon ng inappropriate behavior, mas kaya natin i-handle. First is rule out pain or illness. Now, kapag pain na yung pag-uusapan, hindi to predictable. Minsan biglaan na lang may masakit, nasaktan, nadapa, nasugatan, or anything for that matter. And usually kapag ganito talaga, kailangan natin i-make sure na in pain yung kid. Then once na sure na tayo na may certain cause kung ba't siya nasaktan, then we should remediate immediately. Second is establish consistency and predictability at home. Make a schedule, keep activities in familiar order, keep the physical environment the same, offer the same type of activities, establish consistent social expectations. Hindi sa lahat ng areas or environment, automatically assume natin na alam na niya yung gagawin niya. Kasi baka pag nasanay siya masyado sa isang type of environment, paglipat ng ibang environment, akala niya ganun pa rin. Dapat clear sa kanya what is expected of him or her. This is to increase the known and decrease the unknown. Third is keep calm. Keep the physical environment clean and organized. This is to create a sense of order and predictability. Para clear sa kanya where to find desired objects and kung ano yung mga off limits. Remember, hindi lang dapat yung physical environment yung dapat collected and calm. Pinaka-importante dito is ikaw. Dapat chill ka lang. Kasi pag na-feel niya na ikaw stress ka, mas stress siya. Pero kapag na-feel niya calm ka lang din, controlled yung environment, this eases him or her.
Di ba sabi ko... Anak, try again tayo.
Number 4 is attend to appropriate behavior. Sabi nila, for every negative comment,
Yan na sinasabi ko eh.
you need at least 8 or more positive comments.
Wow! Good job! Galing! Keep going! Kaya mo yan! Let's try again. Woohoo! I'm so proud of you.
Now, we should consistently reward and reinforce good and appropriate behavior. At mas maganda pa na specify and identify kung ano yung good na nagawa niya. Para clear sa kanya at magkaroon siya ng more awareness and understanding kung ano yung ginawa niyang good. Mas likely na yung behavior na yun, i-repeat niya.
You know why I'm proud of you? Because you did your best.
Fifth is use do statements. Iwasan natin yung
Don't! Hoy! Wag! Ano ba?
instead of saying don't push, maybe we can say
Hands are for good and nice touch.
now remember, kids are like sponges. Now, if ever we see an inappropriate behavior na ginagawa ng isang kid, baka sa atin nila nagaya yun na hindi natin alam. Kaya mag-ingat sa kilos at sinasabi, baka sa'yo niya natutunan yun. Number 6 is keep going. Remember, kahit na gaano pa ka-ideal yung environment, sometimes an inappropriate or challenging behavior talaga, lalabas at lalabas yan. So remember that your child is still learning and growing. So it's important to check kung ano yung mga limitations niya and to see kung ano pa yung ibang capabilities niya. Now that we have prepared, how do we prevent? First is, get to know your child. Oftentimes, yung inappropriate behavior, dahil yan sa isang aversive na stimulus. So para ma-minimize to, it's best to see sa perspective nung bata. So it's good to know or consider your child's temperament, personality, likes, dislikes, skills, abilities, sensory needs, or ano ba yung mga aversive sa kanya. Kasi baka para sa'yo or para sa ibang bata, hindi aversive yung isang stimulus. Pero para sa kanya, aversive yun. Second is sharing control. Usually kasi, there's little to no control sa environment and situation kung nasaan yung isang bata. Now, if you let your child decide some of the activities, allow him to decide what comes next sa schedule nyo, or contribute a little bit of his ideas, this will instill a sense of value and boost his self-esteem. Now, this will show him that his input has value and can foster and build respect and commitment sa relationship nyo.
Anak, anong gusto mong gawin after mag-aral?
Maglalaro tayo, Mang?
Pagkatapos maglaro, anong gusto mong gawin?
Kain tayo merienda? Third is successful engagement. Usually, challenging or inappropriate behavior, lumalabas yan out of boredom or dahil walang magawa yung mga kids. Now, by providing an environment that promotes engagement, reduces boredom, which also reduces inappropriate or challenging behavior. Maganda if both unstructured and structured activities yung ibigay natin. Unstructured, talagang walang rules. Ikaw bahala. But it's also good to put a little bit of rules. Bakit? Para ma-challenge yung creativity nila. Tandaan, provide an engaging environment. Wag lang salpakan ng iPad or tablet.
Anak, halika. Mag-color activity ka muna dito.
Okay po. Fourth is simplify communication. Oftentimes, kids are able to express when they're happy or they feel good, diba? They kiss, they hug, high five, clap, or smile. Or kapag bad yung feel nila, dun sila sa challenge on how to express themselves. So usually they scream, they shout, they hit, they throw, and sometimes they destroy things. So that's why it's very important to use simple language and gestures for them to be able to communicate both the good and the bad. Remember, it's not only important for them to understand us, but it's also very important that we understand them.
Oh, what's wrong? Masakit yung tiyan mo?
Number 5, clarify expectations. Do not assume or expect. Oftentimes kasi yung isang bata, naging comfortable na siya sa isang context or environment. But pag nagbago yung environment na yun, hindi automatic sa kanya na kailangan magbago din yung behavior ko. So dapat hindi tayo mag-assume na dapat kaya na niya agad yun. That's why it's best to clearly establish the rules, the limitations, and ano yung mga expected behavior. For in different environments, alam niya paano mag-act. This can avoid misunderstandings and misconceptions.
Oh anak, pag pupunta tayo sa bahay ng tita mo, pwede ka maglaro. Pero, magpaalam ka muna if may gusto kang hiramin or laruin, okay?
Opo. Number 6 is support self-regulation. In many instances, environment and context, the child may find it difficult or challenging to manage his or her response to the environment. Ito yung very crucial na part. Dapat kapag ganun yung nangyari, ma-feel niya na sinusupport natin siya. Hindi yung pinapagalitan pa natin siya na hindi niya alam. It's best na tulungan natin siya ma-figure out kung bakit, or if talagang hindi niya kaya ma-identify, then we tell him or her why. Give him the opportunity to regulate himself.
Oh, bakit? May masakit ba? Gutom ka na ba?
And number 7 is, match the demands with the abilities. Kapag yung demand masyadong mahirap for them, na kahit na yes, alam ko at naintindihan ko, we see the best in our kids. Pero may mga times talaga na talagang hindi pa kasi nila talaga alam sa age nila. So kapag pinilit natin yung isang activity na hindi pa nila masyadong alam or kaya, nag-e-end up, nagagalit sila, mabilis siya ma-frustrate, and ano mangyayari, mas i-avoid na nila yung task na yun. Ang very good example dito na masasabi ko is expecting them to write and read at a very young age. In-expect mo at 2, dapat magaling na siya magbasa or magsulat. Alam ko, OA, pero may mga ganun talagang instances. Pero kapag masyadong madali naman, nag-end up, nabobore na sila. Both yun can result to inappropriate behavior. Ang importante dito is to design a just right challenge. Hindi masyadong mahirap, hindi rin masyadong madali. Yung tama lang na for him or her to learn a new skill or overcome that challenge. And the last P is how do we support positive behavior. First is meet the sensory and primary needs first. Second is make sure na yung current abilities nila at par sa age. And third is increasing compliance. How do we do that? These are some techniques. First is contract setting. Sa simula pa lang, nung gagawin yung task, set mo na yung expectations din. Okay? Kausapin mo siya, ito yung i-expect ko sa'yo, ito yung kailangan gawin. After nito, kapag nagawa mo to, may prize ka. Para while doing the task, alam niya, okay, may usapan kami ni mommy, may usapan kami ni daddy eh. Second is token economies. Ito yung for every task na gawa niya or for every good na nagawa niya, meron siyang sabihin smiley face or star. Para at the end of 5 or 6 or 10 na stars, may reward ka. Next is positive reinforcement. For every good deed, merong reinforcement din na maganda din. For example, talagang may nagawa siya maganda. Social praise can be one, very good. Pwedeng may prize talaga or the privilege of playing with something. Next naman is negative reinforcement. Ano yun? Removing something na ayaw niya. And lastly, you can alternate preferred and non-preferred tasks. Okay? Hindi completely wag gawin, ha? So, kunyari, mahirap sa kanya yung writing, tapos alam natin yung favorite niya ay magtalon sa trampoline or run around, alternate nyo yun. Jump ka muna, run! Write tayo after. Para that way, matapos pa rin niya yung task on hand.